times, when we watch cartoons and other 2D animated films, the character designs typically aren't anything too insane. The reason for that being, who wants to draw this over and over again in a plethora of different poses? Certainly not me. Being an indie animator myself, trying to make my own indie show, I have a multitude of characters that have pretty bare bones designs. I thought it would be fun to try to redesign my characters and give them something a little bit more complex, since their designs are pretty basic. I had a lot of fun while doing this, although trying to design these characters low-key busted my head. I've never been very good at over-designing or designing things that are more complicated, and I think doing this as an exercise was not only fun, but also very educational for me. I absolutely recommend watching some tutorials on designing and then trying this out for yourself. This, by the way, is by no means a tutorial at all. It's mostly going to be me talking about my process of designing and about my characters while you guys watch me draw. This is also my first time making a video in this format, and I know it's not going to be the greatest, so please have mercy on me, and thank you all for sticking with me. With that, I think it's about time we get into this. Now, it might be a bold choice of me to not show the redesign of my main character first, but honestly, I thought Werner's design looked way cooler, and so purely selfish and personal reasons, I put him first. From the very beginning, I had a good idea of what I wanted for him. His original design was one of the only ones in the main cast that I think fits his personality almost perfectly. But even with that idea of him in mind, I still found it pretty hard to actually think of details I wanted to add for him. It's pretty basic character design knowledge to think about their place in the world and all of that, and focus on those to add details, but after truly considering it, I thought that making him look sort of like a guard was kind of perfect. I also thought a lot about Mercenary from Identity V, which is not on good terms right now, but nevertheless is what I was thinking about when designing this, hence the little arm cuffs. To run with the guard outfit idea, I decided to design a second version in which he wears a helmet. I thought it looked cool, but wouldn't be a permanent thing, even though story-wise, he definitely should wear it all the time. The colored star patch on his leg was mostly for cohesion purposes, and by the time I got to designing his boots, I couldn't really think of anything, cool I wanted to do with them. So I added some ribbons and chains with little white triangles in an attempt to just tie the design together. When it came to his skin tone, I definitely made him darker and more gray. I thought it would be a nice contrast to Lot, who's lighter and more warm-toned. I also just like the gray vibes. For pale skin, it's typically purple and sickly, and for darker skin, it's typically more gray and sickly. But that's just a personal thing. I also decided to keep his hair fairly same to the original, having it tied up and sort of scruffy, although I did change his bangs a little to help separate him from Sawyer, who in their original designs have almost the same haircut, which I also might do in his current design just to separate them better. Before getting into the actual design part, I had his color scheme down. I knew I wanted dark green, gold, and red. This knowledge, surprisingly enough, helped when choosing what accessories to give him. Something that did not help me so much when I was trying to design Taylor. My original design of him doesn't really show off any of the specific traits about him, and is more about just wearing something easy to move in, but this design actually really enunciates all of the right things that I wanted. There's a lot I could add or take away from it to make it look better. However, I'm actually really happy with the way it came out. In the end, I think this redesign was probably my favorite. I think it suits him perfectly and is just the most pleasing to look at in my opinion. Lot is also not Taylor, but holy moly, her design was so fun for me to make. When I actually started designing her, I had no clue what I wanted other than the fact that I needed her sleeves to be long, so what I did was design her cult outfit first. Lot, like Werner and Sawyer, are Taylor's criminals, and her cult design would be like her when I was a criminal design. I thought that after she joined the group and ditched her cult outfit, she would have used the bits and pieces to make herself a new outfit, and so designing the other outfit first really helped me design her current outfit. And I know you're seeing my design of her real outfit first, even if I designed it second, but it should still make sense and correlate without you seeing the cult outfit. I know that Lot is a girl, and that she wears pink, but I swear I didn't make her like pink just because she's a girl. Her original outfit is actually based entirely off of a pink sweater I own, and I sort of made its way into her design even now. I thought that adding the slits in her sleeve looked so cool, and I'm glad I went with this whole baggy mixed with tight thing, with her knees and ankles and stomach. I think her shape language is probably my favorite out of anyone here. Okay, when I started designing the Colt outfit, I knew that I needed it to be mostly baggy, and to make sure that her Conjure ability or power was really shown off through the stuff that she wears. For anyone who doesn't know, her power is to create objects out of a hard red substance from any of her joints. This made me leave her knees open and cover her arms and sleeves with red ribbons. The name Red Razor or Red Razor Blade also comes from her ability. The Colt mask was honestly the most important part to me. I actually was thinking about redesigning the basic version also because I really don't think it looks as cool as I need it to. I think that the current mask I made for this design looks pretty awesome. The red swirled eye and the teeth on the side really looked cool once I put it on her face. Also, the little mask designs on the side is the leader's mask in comparison to the regular Colt member mask. I wanted to make it look sharper and scarier, and while I think I got the point across, I know that I definitely could have done more with that. In the end, I really love both of these designs. I think that the color and layout really mesh well with each other, and I'm happy with the results. Leekwood Sawyer, my little crazy man. He just so happens to also not be Taylor, but worry not because his design is coming next. Sawyer's current design was actually based off of a design somebody else made for me. When I first designed him, I thought his outfit was too hard to draw and didn't really match the vibe I was going for. But after looking at their version of the design, I ended up making the design I'm really happy with now. I happened to take some elements from that design and sort of form them into my own little mesh of a design. Sawyer is one of the blessed characters in my story, and this has led to him ending up in the insane asylum and prison, hence Taylor's recruitment of him on the team. The idea of his outfit is that he would have taken the straitjacket, dyed and cut it, and added his own pair of pants in order to make it a livable outfit. I Google searched some basic and classic insane asylum outfits, as well as some more interesting ones, and used them to create something I was happy with. Also, since he's a barber, and he has long hair, I put scissors in his hair to act like a little hair tie. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Like when people put like a tiny sword or pencil in their hair to keep it up. I think it fits pretty well. The bows have no significant value, but I was considering giving him like a little knee slit, and the bows were what was keeping it shut, but I decided against it at the last minute. I also gave him a little belt, and I gave him little pouches on the side, if you can see them, to put little barber things in, even though he's not a barber anymore. I have a feeling he would have been pretty attached to that job, and therefore he would still keep carrying it around and still acting like he was a barber, even though he isn't anymore. I think this outfit fits his vibe pretty well. I think his design, while not my favorite, is actually the best of the bunch. Guys, we have finally made it there! Taylor Tancredo. The main character and also the favorite child is finally getting his long-awaited redesign. Now, I struggled hard with this design. Even though he's very well fleshed out, I just couldn't blend all the elements I had in mind together properly. I wanted to give him a wood chopper outfit, but also Link from Gerudo Town vibe, and they clearly were not going to mesh properly. I also wanted to give him a round and comforting vibe, and I thought a puffy jacket would mesh well with that, although I had to scrap that idea altogether. You can see that I drew his design, erased it entirely, and started over. To be fair, I technically and chronologically started with Taylor's design, and maybe my creative juices just weren't flowing at the time. Who knows? I did work pretty out of order when drawing these, since my process is sketch, line, and color, so each person's design was sketched, lined, and colored in order, not in one sitting, if that makes sense. Yes, editing the footage was literally a nightmare for me. Taylor's very, very, very first design was actually a jester who used a lance. I thought that it would be cool to bring back in some of those elements from his roots, however, I just couldn't fit them with each other, and so I had no choice but to scrap that idea altogether. I tried focusing on the Woodchopper and Gerudo Link vibe for the most part, and after that, I think it worked out pretty well. Entity, who has a lot to do with Taylor, was based solely on the desert's Gerudo vibe. I think Entity's design turned out pretty cool looking. His purpose is to show a lot of skin, since Taylor doesn't, and I think the sort of parallel vibes with them match, even with Taylor wearing more wintry, rounder, covered clothes. It hurt my soul when I had to cover up Taylor's hair with a beanie, but I knew that his design needed him to wear it so bad. So I bit my lip and just went along with it, and I actually really liked the way it turned out. I think the colors were not my favorite. I originally had intended him to be wearing the sort of reddish color and the sort of purplish color that I picked for him, but choosing those two colors honestly wasn't my best idea, and I wasn't the happiest with it when I started actually coloring things in. I personally feel like Entity's colors matched a lot better for him. Maybe it's because he isn't wearing brown, or because I arranged the colors better, but I just feel like they look better on him. And when it came to me finally designing the designs on the scarves and the ribbons, I think that the white really helped bring Entity's design together, while it sort of tore Taylor's apart, which makes me really disappointed. But either way, I think that they look okay, and honestly, I'm not too upset with the way they are. They just definitely aren't my favorite. While I do like these designs, they're definitely my least favorite, which is super unfortunate since I love Taylor so much. But despite my hatred for their designs, I will say that they fit the vibe, and who knows, I might redesign him again. Ike's design was certainly the most fun for me to make. He dresses like an emo, and I can't lie, I started to do the same, so designing this was kind of fun for me. He's supposed to give off a sort of street punk vibe in his original design, but I thought leaning more towards emo for this version would be fun. I sorta hated the pose I sketched out for him, but by the time I was done sketching him, I really didn't care too much about how dumb I thought the pose looked. Ike's current design is personally my least favorite to animate, since his see-through shirt is a big pain in the butt for me. I wanted to sort of keep that element, but I decided against it last minute. Like an absolute dingbat, I Google searched emo and got a reference picture from that. I was okay working with it, but majority of his design was based off of people I met in the past, my clothes, and the Google images I found. I think that despite my horrible reference finding skills, his design turned out exactly the way I wanted it to. There are a few things I'm sure I could have done better, but as a whole, I think this design is great. I loved giving him the cut-up pants, the one leg of fishnets, and the strange cut-up black sleeve that doesn't make any sense. His design was certainly the most fun. I think the elements and colors all mesh really well, even with his face and hair that is kind of out of the ordinary compared to the rest of his design. And I honestly really like the amount of belts I gave him, which is a weird compliment to myself, but still. Even though it was a pain to draw, and when I got around to coloring it, I wanted to rip out my spinal cord. I think I actually would draw it again some other time for fun. Kendi is another one of my favorite childs. He competes with Taylor for first place. Chronologically, I started off lining Kendi's design first, and so I think I had the most motivation to draw at this point, which was good. But even with that, I actually think I liked his sketch more than his finished line art. My only thoughts when designing the original Kendi was, make him ugly, make him ugly, make him ugly. So I tried to mesh together all the strangest things I could. The jacket with no shirt, khaki shorts, and long metal boots. I thought that his original design did its job the way I wanted, and I needed to find a way to carry that sort of ugliness into his new design, while also making it more complicated. I'm not sure that it translated well as I thought originally, but I'm still pretty happy with the way it came out. Since he's an inventor, I gave him goggles, and let me tell you, I did not know what I was doing when I drew those. I looked up some images, but there was no helping my confusion. I had drawn goggles before in the past, but honestly, they just never end up looking the way I want them to. And I had no idea how to over-design them either. Also, for anyone who isn't well versed in my lore, Kendi and Sunny are best friends, so I tried to give them matching bracelets to show the type of connection they have in their designs. Plus, it helped me add accessories when I got stumped. In the end, I genuinely think this design is pretty good. I think I could have designed it more, but for what it is, I still like it. And since Kendi is one of my favorite characters, I'm sure a lot of that's bias talking, but still, I like it a lot. And our final little guest for today. Sunny is in fact the sun, as a person. Kendi helped him come up with a human form, and I definitely see Sunny taking some type of inspiration from Kendi when picking an outfit to wear. However, Sunny is extremely egotistical and would most likely want to wear something that makes him look rich and well-adjusted, so I gave him a suit. It also matches his original design decently well. I thought it would be cute for him to have a little stitched sleeve that has some embroidered sun on it, probably given to him by Kendi, and to have a lot of little sun symbols and embroidery all over the rest of him, like the badge on his shoulder and the badge in the front of his shirt, as well as the little star on his leg. I also decided that the design for the actual sun himself needed to be fairly simple. I know that this is an over-design video, and this isn't really an over-design, but I just needed to keep it simple. Most people, when making sun characters, have them wearing a mask or some kind of regal-looking thing. And, well, I wanted to keep it simple because the sun is simple. It's a red, yellow, and orange flaming hot star thing in the sky. I really do love both of these designs, and I think they fit him really well. Unfortunately, I still actually don't like this design, and it is only barely above Taylor and Entity's. But either way, it fits him really well, and I enjoyed the process of making it, as well as thinking about all of the different implications. So, it was really fun. I plan on posting these designs on my Art Fight page, so if you're participating and you're in the mood, feel free to check it out. If you made it this far, I have nothing but pure appreciation for you. I know that my commentary and formatting needs work, so if you guys have any constructive criticism for me, comment it down below, although please be nice about it. I plan on posting long-form stuff like these on Wednesdays as often as possible, so you can expect another one of these another Wednesday sometime soon. I hope you enjoyed my designs and hearing a bit about my characters. Like I said before, I am an animator, so if this is the first video of mine you're seeing, I recommend watching some of my animations. I am trying to make an indie show, so if you like my art, please consider subscribing. If you guys have any ideas for other videos I can make, like redesigning other characters, art studies, tutorials, creating characters, just let me know. I love fan interaction, so if you guys want to do something like a Narami challenge, let me know down below. And last but not least, thank you one more time. That'll be all.